Live from Brooklyn, New York. Family, it's nice to be back. We have Donnatella C in the house, the host, and Rickie James is in the house. Excellent, Donnatella.
You see it?
Community Cuts live from Brooklyn, New York. Kings County is in the house. Kings County, Brooklyn.
I feel that this Friday, these big studio lights, I'm hot, but I think it's partly, I stopped at Patsy's Pizzeria, had a Patron margarita, and then I went to Farm One and had some kind of gin basil cocktail. So my Friday is lit. And of course I know
You're sweating.
I feel hot.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm not sweating, but I have been drinking a lot of water. And as a melanated person, my skin is glowing. This week, I'm excited. I have forced Duke. Duke is now behind the scenes, connecting our audio visual to a huge live screen TV. And then he's being bullied into coming and sitting in this chair and participating in the show. So how do you feel about that, Duke?
Love it. Love it, he said.
And how do you feel?
I feel it's going back into the old days when me and Duke used to run the show itself by ourselves for at least 2-3 weeks. We were on the screen, just the two of us.
Awesome. So right now, there we are. We're live. And this is perfect. And we don't need anybody else. When an Aries tells you we can do it, you got to listen to the Aries. Because this is the year of the Aries. So Duke, stop playing with the volume. We don't need to hear ourselves. Please, my Libra brother, come take a seat in front of the camera. And this is how we are going to be streaming every Friday going forward at 7 p.m.
Well,
we got Mr. Duke here, Mr. Saunders.
Thank you, family. I'm happy to be here with you guys and love it. It's a pleasure to sit up front. I'm usually behind the scenes, and I'm comfortable behind there, but I'm happy to be here with my family as well. All right.
Okay. So we tested the audio. I am great, and we have our patriotic colors for Community Cuts BDK, because small business is all about branding and how we reach out. I'm excited that we're all here. Can you see when I sat in that chair, you put the microphone somewhere, I did not move it.
Okay.
Are you comfortable now, sir?
I'm comfortable. Mm-hmm.
Please open the show. I'm so excited.
Well, family, we have a lot of things that's happening here in Brooklyn and throughout the world. And one of the things that captured my spirit, my eyes, and my family and I we've been talking about is what's happening in our world, what's happening in Iran, what's happening in to the United States as well. We posed a war, and Britain, Israel, and Iran is in conflict. And it's important to, and I'm going to tell my family, my people that's viewing us right now, it's important to guard your energies. Do not let go of your energies. Sometimes we can get frustrated, and we can allow our energies to just evaporate. Where that we get into the a cycle of just spinning. So it's important, family of Brooklyn I'm talking to particularly, to guard your energies. This is a time that we need to be in prayer, but also to guard your energies as well. Donnatella?
Well, you guys know I don't deal in energies. I'm going to let Duke handle the energy part. And I think that's what makes this discussion, this podcast, this live stream important, and why I try so hard to be here every Friday, because of the different personalities, our different beliefs, but the one thing we have in common, which is community.
Community.
And so I would like for the gentleman, I'm pretending that, it's my show and I'm going to direct it to them, but I would like the gentleman to open us up and telling us what do you think, or let's each give our perspective. One night we went to sleep. We were not at war. We woke up in the morning and we heard that the United States had bombed Iran. Would you gentlemen care to share how that impacted you individually? Whoever likes to go first.
Where I work, there is many Iranians, Pakistanis, Indians. They go to Europe a lot. They come back and they tell me about it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the gentlemen that just went to Europe was in the Olympics. He was an Olympic watcher. He watched through the computer at the Olympic Village.
Mm-hmm.
He came back and he showed me what it is and how it feels like to be in the Olympic Village in Europe at that time.
And the Iranian. And how did he feel having gone to sleep?
He is a worldly person. He has an Italian wife or a woman. I don't know which one,
mm-hmm.
but he is always bringing me guests on my spot where I am,
mm-hmm.
telling me to this person is from England,
mm-hmm.
and he came here just to speak to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I said, sure. I spoke to him for about an hour and a half, and I got enlightened.
But how did he feel the day that he woke up and he saw that the United States, a place I'm assuming he calls home, was fighting and striking Iran without notice?
Well, he's one of those people that is very calm.
Okay.
He doesn't seem like anything can disrupt him.
Okay. And how did you feel?
I felt that the United States is too far. They go to too many wars.
Yeah,
they're not the police officer of the world. They're just a country. They're not allowed to charge into a country and try to take over.
Especially without notifying Congress first. And before Duke gives his reaction, let us remind our viewers that Donald Trump is the first sitting president to have attacked 8 different countries within 1 year. This may be the second year of his second term, but it's my understanding and belief that no other sitting president has attacked 8 different countries within a 12-month calendar span.
Mm-hmm.
So Duke, how did you feel when you woke up and you realized we had bombed Iran?
Well, I felt, I have a deep impact feeling for humanity, no matter, where you are in the world, no matter what region, no matter what color you are, no matter what denomination you are. It's all about humanity. And when I heard that children were, I think it was 140 something kids, or it could be more,
mm-hmm.
that were killed in this raid, my heart went out to them. Humanity is humanity, and that's the first thing that hit my heart.
Mm-hmm.
So war is not a good thing. I understand people have to do what they need to do, but war is not a good thing. We have one God,
mm-hmm.
that's the creator of us all, and so that impacts everyone. So for me, humanity. Why?
Well, I think I am not a person that has a huge hold on politics worldwide. Over the lifetime of my existence, and since I've been the age to legally vote, I try to actively participate in elections where I am registered, because so many years ago, people who looked like me could not vote. So that is important. Not to mention, at some point in my life, I remember seeing someone who had a legal matter. And when they were talking about the character of this individual, ironically, they brought up this person's voting history as a way to talk about, what type of American, what type of citizen that person was. So it's always been in the forefront of my mind that my ancestors went through a lot of things. My elders went through a lot of things so that I can vote. So I should vote, right?
Yep.
And with my understanding being that typically before a president declares war, there is a notification or an attempt to seek approval from Congress, right? So that one person is not having a godlike persona trying to do different things. So I went to sleep already stressed out about a lot of other things. I mean, this is Brooklyn, this is the United States. We have organizations like ICE. Where you going?
Excuse me for 1 second.
Organizations like ICE running around. The sound is great because I can hear it coming from your laptop. Organizations like ICE running around, grabbing my neighbors, regardless to if they're illegal immigrants or if they are United States citizens, whether they are children, whether they are men, women, or identified as something else. And that is problematic. But the thought that you could ideally go to sleep, the United States go to war, wake up, and see people in another country trying to get in touch with the American consulate, U.S. consulate, or other safe places with no plan in order to get out was really disturbing to me. Not to mention, I told you to call that young man and let him know that we were okay. Sorry, young man. Anyway, we had another gentleman who was coming in to do the audio visual from the back. But anyone who knows Donnatella knows that I've got 20 plus years in tech. So we are good to go on this side. But going back to what I was saying, the idea that you could wake up in the morning, we can go to war without any kind of notice, right? And then who knows? Who could tell whether or not Iran, which they did, immediately start firing missiles to other places. I had a loved one who was in Dubai. So when I went to social media and I saw missiles passing behind, I think it was Fairmont Hotel, I think is what I saw. I immediately wanted to know where was my baby cousin at that moment. Not to mention, when you do things other places, there are people from that country here in the United States.
I concur. That's a little piece of my neck of the woods. Pratt Institute has a life and death issue on the campus itself. Everywhere around it is a life and death issue. Something happened. I cannot explain it because it's top secret.
Yep. Don't tell us.
To that university.
But leave it alone if it's top secret.
It's top secret, but it's something that happened, and what we can do and cannot do, we can't do it any longer.
Right. So what's interesting, or I think what is a plus about this platform, sometimes we have guests from the private industry, from the public industry. We have members of Congress who come here, city council members, but right in front of you, I'm gonna say heavy on this side and not include myself because I'm trying to be young, but you have decades of experience in government, in public industry and private industry. And so when you're listening to us speak about different things, there is always something you can get, right? And so for me, being in Brooklyn, which is one of the most diverse boroughs in New York City, and really the only borough that matters. Okay, mic drop. No shade to the rest of the boroughs, but everybody knows Brooklyn's number one. But with that being said, right? Every day that you get up and you're able to walk or drive or run throughout Brooklyn, you are brushing shoulders with people from other countries.
Right.
And
right.
so you have to ask yourself, how do those people who are in the United States feel when they wake up in the morning and they realize their family and friends are being subjected to missiles and bombs? And who's to say the United States has a lot going on? We have horrible problems with guns, horrible problems with violence, and everybody remembers the term sleeper cell.
Right.
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 So, the older you live, the more educated you become, the more you experience. I'm like, this president is just doing too much. And for me, it's like every time something else happens with the Epstein files, here comes another distraction. Right.
Well, Epstein was all over the world. Most people that of any type of influence knew Mr. Epstein. I saw that on the news. I couldn't.
I saw that as well, but I had no idea. So first of all, I wasn't at the Epstein Island. I wasn't into the Epstein files. It really, every time I heard people talking about it, I wasn't really paying attention until, I guess in the last 2 years, because everywhere you look, it's Epstein files. And, one of the reports from the unredacted and redacted files is that our sitting president's name is mentioned 38,000 times in the Epstein files.
And he knew English dukes, earls.
I saw that
Congress.
But to think of where he started from, right? Where he was, if you're thinking about status, corporate ladder, to where he was when he left, departed this earth, which, some people are now going back to saying, do we really know if he took his own life? Is he living on some other island, right? Because I think they've been showing his counterpart, his girlfriend, right, in jail. And there are all these accusations or allegations that the person that we're watching on the live stream in prison is not actually her. They're showing how, she's gained all this weight and her face structure is different. I just think it's very scary what is happening in March 2026.
So I think that for family, I'm saying this out loud, that for me, I would love our communities to really, pray, put God before them, because we're going through some uncharted times in 2026. And if we can get past this, it needs to be spiritually done. There's no other way. And so, you have to be spiritually tethered to the Most High God, and to allow the Most High God to speak to you, speak to your heart, because we're in this time now. Some people are saying, World War III. No one really knows. But at this time that we're in, I would hate for us not to be spiritually astute. Because when we are spiritually astute, then we can hear from the universe. We can hear what our heart is saying, and what the Most High God is saying to his children. And so I think that if you take that stance, if you take that posture, it would be a lot better for each one of us to be spiritually astute and pray, and also to what they say, discernment. Because as I said before, I do not want our communities to to be sped along to a dark street and not knowing what's happening. And the only way to prevent that is to tap into the God that's within you and to listen and to be, allow your ears to be keen to the Most High God. So we have a lot in front of us, family, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen by the end of the year or next year, but we do know.
Well, before we get to the end of the year or next year, we have to get to November, which is the midterms.
Yes.
So one thing we do know is that y'all better vote.
Mhm.
85 million individuals did not participate in the presidential election, right? So many people went to sleep. Our assistant vice president, the vice president, she can't win. No, she couldn't win if 85 million people did not vote, right? Or some people said, and these are people that I heard with my own ears, which totally upset me, right? Oh, I'm not going to vote. My vote doesn't matter. Or the amount of Black and brown people that voted for Donald Trump that said, well, I don't want to vote for a Black woman because that Black woman put so many Black men in jail for X amount of years, and she did this and she did that to them. And, oh, she's not really Black. She's only Black when it's convenient. The amount of Black and brown people who voted for Donald Trump and said, literally, at least he tells you who he is, you know he's evil. Each one of you Black and brown people that voted for Donald Trump are responsible for everything that's being implemented in Project 2025 that is negatively impacting you and your neighbor. And I say that 10 toes down, right? And especially if you're a Black and brown Caribbean person or African person or someone born outside of the United States, or if you are someone who is a citizen by birthright citizenship, right? All those things that this administration is working to reverse. If you are a Black and brown person and you have a small business in any of the states and you voted for Donald Trump, you are the reason that the new SBA has changed its guidelines. It's taking back a lot of certifications from people who have a minority disadvantage certification under the SBA. New York City, New York State is fighting heavily for minority women business enterprise, which
That's a shocker.
It's a
shocker.
Yeah, it's you, the person who voted for this president, is responsible for all the tariffs that we're now facing, right? You're responsible for the millions of people who have lost their health insurance, right? If you are someone like me that has a family member who has passed from cancer, a family member who has survived cancer, a family member who is currently diagnosed with cancer, if you voted for this administration, you are responsible for all those funds that were taken away from cancer research. And it just, it blows my mind, right? People talk about the brown community, right, that voted for this, and now thousands upon thousands of them are being deported. People are pointing their fingers at them, but they're not pointing their fingers at the other people who voted for him, right? That shouldn't have. And I did not vote for Donald Trump. And
there's a young woman that wants to come onto our show to support Black enterprise.
Okay.
Her name is Mrs. L.B. Brown.
All right.
She resides in Brooklyn. She has a business on Myrtle Avenue, Myrtle
excellent.
and Clawson.
What kind of business is it?
It's an art frame shop. And she is really articulating to the fact that she has been in business for over 20, 30, for a long period of time.
Well, and she has a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Which is a physical location.
Yes.
That
she wants to come on the show and blast
amazing.
it. She wants to blast it.
Well, I hope that next Friday. What'd you say her name was?
Mrs. Brown, L.B. Brown.
Mrs. L.B. Brown with the art frame work business. We are looking forward to having you come next week. Next Saturday is Friday is Friday 13th.
Yeah,
Well, we're not superstitious on this
that's
side.
right.
We're not superstitious on this side. We're looking to have you come here and talk to us because, they say that a lot of small businesses don't survive 2 years in business, right? And to be here double-digit years, and I can imagine in this economy, I was walking down Flatbush Avenue today. I started at Flatbush and Dean. And as I walked up, I actually took pictures of businesses that are no longer there. Gino's.
Yep, gone.
Oh yeah,
That
I heard
has
about
been
that.
here
Gone.
40
The pizza
years.
shop across the street from Gino's is gone.
Which
The bagel shop that's next to the Gino's across the street, the pizzeria across the street is gone.
I want to tell you.
Where are we going?
You think I'm joking? I took pictures. I have 2 phones. One's personal, one's a business, and I just wanted to. I wanted to cry because it's bittersweet because you're looking 1 minute and you're saying, hey, this business is gone, but here's this new small business that's excited, that's thriving, that's coming. But when I looked at the Gino's has been there for 40 years, I said to myself, well, if you're an owner, you had a business for 40 years, you're probably a senior now.
Yep.
And
senior citizen.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, let's pray that they made lots and lots of money, right?
Yeah,
they saved it and did some investments, but I'm wondering, where are they now? Where are they going from here? It's one of my favorite fashion businesses that was on Flatbush was Versailles. Versailles was on Flatbush Avenue across from Dean Street in the Barclays. It's now here on Nostrand Avenue. So luckily it was able to move somewhere else. Gino's didn't have a forwarding address, which makes me think it just closed. If you're on Flatbush Avenue and you start at, I want to say Lincoln Road, and you go down to Clarendon, let's say you go all the way down to the junction, it is heartbreaking to see how many businesses
There's another
are shuttered.
Gino's. There's another Gino's in Brooklyn, but I'm trying to find.
I will tell you exactly where it is because I know that Gino personally. So there is Gino's Pizzeria, the pizza shop, and Gino's Restaurante on Flatbush between Lincoln Road and Maple.
All the way down there.
I just had 2 slices of pizza 2 days in a row from that Gino's. Absolutely love Gino's. Gino's has been there for about 40 years as well. There is another Gino's on Flatbush Avenue and the corner of Linden, which is owned by the son of the Gino's that I just mentioned.
Very good. That's some detective work there.
It's not detective. I love my belly, and I also love Brooklyn, and I am a customer of those places. There are a lot of Gino restaurants. They're not all owned by the same individual.
Yep.
I don't know which family owns the one that actually closed.
I think that we do have to start supporting other melanated business as well, because in Brooklyn there's a lot of businesses going under.
Yep.
The rents are high in Brooklyn, and we do promote nice areas, but at the same time there's a lot of people that's not able to afford the rents that they're asking for now. And so you should support melanated businesses, and to make the dollar reconstitute throughout the neighborhoods throughout the community. So it's important to support our melanated communities, businesses, I should say.
Well, and for another perspective, one of the things that they always talked about is that the economical dollar of a Black and brown person spends very little time in its community before it's put back into the bucket. And that's really what
That's
you're
true.
speaking to,
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
So when you have your dollar, where are you getting your grocery? Where are you getting your gas? Where are you doing your home goods or your child care? You know, how many times is that dollar being wrapped around your community before you're going outside? And I think people will say what they want, but I think a lesson that we could learn about how to support our community is to look at the Orthodox Jewish community and how they spend their dollars amongst themselves. Say what you want about them.
That's in history. That is history or historically what they do.
Whether it's positive or
Spend
negative.
where they are, nowhere else.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
And let's be clear. I've seen some Orthodox Jewish people in Caribbean establishments, whether it is restaurants, whether it's parties, whether it's event spaces, whether it's libraries, whether it's nonprofits. But one thing they do heavily is they make sure to support their own businesses. And, you know, no shade to my Black and brown sisters and brothers and however you are identifying in 2026. But let's talk about the money that we spend on fashion, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, and don't get me wrong, I own Louis Vuitton, I own Gucci. I have yet to buy any, what's the other LV? There's Louis Vuitton and there's the, Louis Vuitton. Yeah, that's what I meant to say, Louis Vuitton. I have yet to purchase authentic Louis Vuitton myself, but when you think about how many of us are buying Oscar de la Renta and all these different designs, and how we are not supporting Black and brown fashion within our own community, it's kind of heartbreaking and sad, because some of those designers tell us to our face their clothes weren't made for us. Some of that is urban legend, some of it isn't. But I think right now, given what tariffs are doing to products in our community, if you have a mom and pop shop near you, everybody between now and the end of the year should actively try to buy something to support your small business, because this administration, or the new Small Business Administration, as they call it, has taken away a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment that you are saying or articulating. And I think that we have to start being disciplined, and discipline meaning that we have to really go in and spend money within our Black and brown communities. And even if it may be a little higher, you have to be disciplined to spend money in the community, especially when we believe is going to reconstitute itself throughout our communities, meaning that the restaurant, Black and brown restaurant, will start, sending their dry cleaning clothes or whatever to another Black and brown dry cleaners, or another what's the store I'm thinking about?
Well, that Black and brown restaurant is going to hire Black and
brown exactly
from within your community, or the products that they're going to buy may or may not be from another Black and brown vendor.
Right.
But I think the other thing too.
And I was gonna say that we as people, we have to start being creative. We have to start creating our own sneaker brand. We have those. Yeah, we have to start, supporting that.
And let's be clear, we're not saying that that we aren't doing that. I went into Brooklyn Blend yesterday. They have a brick and mortar on the corner in East New York. I have supported them in the location that they had inside of Flatbush Central for the last couple of years. But it was my first time going into that restaurant. First of all, huge space, beautiful, clean, food is delicious. But I noticed they had merch. They had Brooklyn Blend vans, stickers. And so, I know a lot of Black and brown artists, and I try to purchase books. We have a bunch of local artists. You have makeup artists. You have clothing. You have Black and brown real estate agents, property managers. You have all different types of ways that you can pour your money into your community. And the place that I went today, Farm One, which is, I think that is Dean Street off of Vanderbilt, that is actually a Black-owned farm. So the plants, the herbs, the things that are in this business are from a Black-owned farm. They have a pizza party business restaurant inside as well. Beautiful. It is, one of the owners of it is a Black woman for the pizza party business. And what I loved about being in there before I came over
location is on Bergen Street.
Well, I said it's Dean. I don't know what street it's on, but it's called Farm One, and everybody knows how to Google.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I'll go back and add it in the comments. But what I loved about it when I was in there was the diversity. So there were kids of all types of nationalities. There were some single mothers. There were single fathers. What I really loved, it looked like, but I wasn't sure, it looked like two Black male brothers who each had their daughters with them, and they were having a pizza dinner. I don't think we speak enough about Black men who are doing the right thing and taking care of their kids. And that stood out to me. There were Black, I can't say they were single. There were individual Black women or people who appeared to be Black women. I'm trying to be, politically correct, who had their laptops, their headphones on, they were working. It was actually a very harmonious environment. They do tours in this place, which I love. And given that, I think I heard today that Bill Gates has won the right to have his computer-generated meat distributed into our grocers without our approval.
Wow.
You now need to find a local source for your food where you can be sure of what you're putting into your mouth. There's Brooklyn Supported Agriculture, which is a Black-owned, I think they're a nonprofit. They work with Black and brown farmers to source local foods, regardless of if it's fresh vegetables. They have some canned good items I've purchased from them several times. They have a brick and mortar too. I think one is on Marcus Garvey in Brooklyn. So I am becoming very concerned with what's going into the foods that I am digesting, especially since this administration has cut us off from the WHO. They've done something with the FDA people. And I heard yesterday I read where there are now X amount of new harmful chemicals in our food without our approval, because now no one's checking the way they used to.
Yeah.
And I think, that's why I like to tell our family that we have to, tap into the God that's within us so we can gain that knowledge and have that information that's within us. I mean, I just came out of a fast. And with that being said, sometimes you just have to step back and ask God to speak through you or speak to you as well. Because, with that being said, what you just said, that's serious. And the kind of foods that is in the grocery stores that we don't know about what's happening, right? And the only way that you're going to know something is by the Most High God speaking to your spirit, speaking to your heart. And so it's important. It's not about religion. It's about the God that's within you and allowing the Most High God to, deal with you as well, because it is important in this uncharted territories that we are, uncharted waters that we're in. And so I think that if I have anything to say, I would tell our people, our communities, to tap into God that's within you. Is important too, and then you can ask God to lead and navigate through this world, because it's important to be spiritually connected, be spiritually tethered to the Most High God. What's your say, Rickie?
Well, the point is the farmers, the black farmers, if they are not comfortable with their product, where will they go to next?
What do you?
If they're selling their product to a certain venue or certain people, and they're not comfortable because of the country, where will they go to next?
Right.
If they're selling meat to another organization that cures their meat much better than they do someplace else, will they go someplace else? So.
What I think I had the opportunity to actually rode from New York to Pennsylvania with a Black-owned organization that sources foods from Black farmers. And they drove all the way to Pennsylvania to purchase fresh sausage made by a black farmer. And it was very interesting to me. We went to the manufacturer where they actually were taking the sausage and putting it into the cases. I don't think the problem is the Black farmer and where the farmer wants to take their items or where they're getting their things from. I think the problem is the amount of funding that's going to our Black farmers, the amount of individuals who are taking the time to financially support our Black farmers.
Yeah.
I think there is an issue with the different cities and states and their administration and how they are creating programs to support the Black farmer. So our Black farmers, let's say there are Black farmers in Colorado who say that their neighbors are terrorizing them, right? Cutting them off from resources. I think a problem with our Black farmers is that we lack the discipline and focus in the Black and brown community that some of the other communities have when they become, tunnel visioned to support their own, right? I try to purchase the majority of my meals from Black and brown organizations, right? But I have relationships with small businesses that are owned by Italians, Koreans, Asians, and I support them also.
Another example of that type of thing, what I was speaking about, or where you're going to put it, the funding for the Gateway Project, it just stopped, just like that. The funding stopped. They had no other avenue to go to in order to pay those people who were working in these tunnels. They just dropped their tools and left them there. And the funding from the government was no longer there.
That's a federal
the federal government, yeah.
Probably because this administration, again, getting rid of DEI, getting rid of programs that support Black and brown.
In the middle of a project, in the middle of it. So that's you can't do that and work in the field of construction. You can't just drop it. Well, there should have been a backup for that, but it's not. Well, there was none.
I think whatever was lacking, now they are trying to to find a way, because every day that you go on, this administration tries to find another way to attack certain people in certain areas in different ways. I mean, look, we just lost apparently the Secretary of Department of Homeland Security because of the things that she was doing. But the new Secretary of DHS is a former MMA fighter. And I watched today a video where they literally showed him sitting in session for Senate, speaking with an individual where he challenged that individual to fight right there during the Senate session. And I think it was Bernie Sanders. I almost said Bernie Mac. It was Bernie Sanders who said, wait. We are in session and you have to act accordingly. So, I don't know. It is March 2026. We're coming into just off of Black History Month, where look at what happened at BAFTA with the racial slur by the individual who had Tourette's. I love our public advocate, Javani Williams, who's tried to offer a empathetic statement as someone who deals with Tourette's. And
there's a way to do things, and then there's a way not to do things.
Well, I don't think it's the person's fault. It was the entity that was
too much. Then it's too much.
It was the entity that was censoring the event. They selected which word to blur out and which word to let rock. And then you have to ask yourself, if it was intentional, which I think it was it to create, everybody's living in a world of monetization with social media, right?
So that's the problem, I guess.
And they know that the N word, wherever it is going to trigger engagement and reaction from people. And I wasn't watching the show when it happened. I have seen a bunch of videos after the fact. And the ones that are on social media, I'm just like, are they doing this just for the monetization? Because some platforms are making thousands and thousands of dollars.
That's why I said, that's why I say that you have to, for the very outset, I said you have to guard your energy.
Yeah.
Because they're going to put out things out there for people to bite at. And once you bite at it, it grabs your energy. And so your energy is yours and your family and your immediate surroundings of you, your community. And if you allow your energy to be sapped up by just entities that really trying to take your energy, it's you lose. So you have to, family, you have to guard your energies. Even things that you hear on the air, you hear things that's happening in the Middle East. You have to guard your energy because it's important that you don't take that back home to your family, to your spouse, to your children. So it's important.
Or to yourself.
Or to your.
If you're single, like moi.
Yeah. If you're single, you have to,
They don't know about being single, y'all. Just me.
If you're single, you have to guard your energy. Because it's important.
Especially because what I don't want, interesting is not the right word, but what has been happening lately is that we're hearing more and more about depression, more and more about mental illness. I think mental illness has been prevalent in all types of communities for a long time. But since the pandemic, I hear more and more about alleged suicides of people of color, especially of our Black men, which is, I think there are two things that are happening there. There are definitely more situations where people are being overcome with depression, especially people who are engaged with social media, maybe not having a good time with social media. People who are being bullied in school, and things are so much more in your face now, right?
Yeah.
So when we were growing up, you could get into a fight, you could have a verbal whatever, you could say some words, and then when you leave school, maybe people are talking about it, but you're not seeing it in real time.
Yeah.
Right? So these kids today, of course, with video chats, Snapchats, live streams of stuff happening, and that digital footprint lives on forever.
Checkups, backups, locked doors, closed classrooms. They're dealing with so much that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Not to mention
for kids, you know.
Yeah, not to mention you have the dangers of platforms like Roblox, Snapchat. You have an unprecedented number of young people who are missing.
Oh yeah.
And then
that's one thing that's important.
Yeah, unprecedented amount of young people who are missing. Some of these children developing relationships online with people that they think they can trust on social media, later finding out that it's a predator of some sort. Sometimes it's frenemies, people they think they're friends but really not. I think
parents have a job to do.
Well, I think it's not just the parents. It's the parents, it's the village, it's the
village,
it's the church, it's the school, because a lot of schools are teaching young kids technologies that the adult parents don't even know. Right? True. Facebook. True. Some parents don't know anything after MySpace. Right? And it's not a negative, but I wanted to talk about, it's happening more in the South and the Midwest. The amount of suicide by hangings that are happening with Black men. Lynchings. Yeah. Yes. And that scares me to death. That is horrifying. I haven't heard of any women being found like that, but lots of Black men, and unfortunately, in these red states, I don't think the administration that is in charge is in a position to care. I keep hearing about these different encounters and it being, ruled a suicide. I don't see any Black man, I don't care if he doesn't even date Black women, being so upset that his way to leave this earth is to climb in a tree, take a rope, and wrap it around his own neck and jump. That just sounds crazy to me.
That's
especially
true.
with all the stigmas that are tied to it.
That's true. And family, just to piggyback off for your argument, fellas, that as we walk, especially in Brooklyn, don't be afraid to talk to your brother. A lot of times we'll pass each other or not say anything, but this is a time where the village has to be alert, have to be aware, and we all are a part of this community. So a lot of times I'll see a brother and I may say hello, not walk past him, or hello to a sister, hello. We don't have to have a long conversation, but we're in this kind of community now, 2026, that we have to communicate with each other and we have to share, because none of us know everything. And it's not about being isolated, because if you're isolated, you can't share. You won't know what's happening on the other side of the community. So we have to be able to share with each other. Yes, I'm living in, I'm from Brooklyn, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, Crown Heights, Park Slope. Yes, that's me. But yes, East New York, Bed-Stuy. So we have to share with each other and communicate and learn how to do it in love. Because without that, there's nothing. With love is more energy, more potent, and it's real. And the kids that we have today, you may see kids that you don't know, but you're still, if they're in your community, they're part of you. You have to govern that. If you see something, say something. Because the kids are today, they're snatching them up.
It's not, and it's not just kids. It's young adults.
Yeah.
It's moderate age. There's also I register with New York City for a lot of the alerts. The amount of, they call them silver alerts, the amount of elders that are missing in
Yeah.
our community.
Yeah.
Also,
Wander off. They
also,
wander off.
yeah,
Yes,
it breaks
they
my heart.
do
People
that.
who
They
are
do
suffering
that.
from dementia. I'm
Alzheimer's.
seeing,
Yeah.
Alzheimer's. I'm seeing seniors who are walking out of nursing homes, being released from hospitals. Before we get away from the topic, I just did a quick Google search. The nationwide suicide prevention number in the United States is 988. You can pick up any phone, call 988. You can call or text from anywhere in the United States. It connects you to the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which has trained counselors available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is very important. Keyword on TRAINED, trained, because you cannot receive help from someone who is not specializing in whatever is happening to you. It's okay to talk to friends, but sometimes our friends need help as well, right? There's also an online chat line. Maybe you don't want to talk. Maybe you don't want to have someone hear your voice. You can go to website 988lifeline.org. That's a nonprofit. You can have tech support. There is a number that you can add in your phone as a text message. You can send the word home, HOME, to 741-741 to reach the crisis text line. So there are a lot of ways for you to get support. If you happen to be someone who is on a city or state health insurance program, you can call 311. There are places that you can go. And lastly, let's remember the original place that our people went for support, your local church, right? I know people will argue that there's some pastors out there who are doing things that they should not be doing, or they're driving big fancy Rolls Royces and they don't care about their parishioners. But I happen to know two reverends very well. Reverend Pastor Louis Straker Jr. of Brooklyn Reflections Church, Pastor Waterman of Antioch Church. I know them personally. I know if you go to those churches, you are going to get help. If you live in any of the 5 boroughs, you can call 311, ask who your city council member is, who your local senator is, who your congressperson is. You can go into these people's offices and tell them you need help, you need assistance. You are what's called the constituent.
That's true.
Only if you vote.
Be sure to
vote or not, but they are the constituents. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want them to vote too. We do want them to vote.
So technically, if you live within a district, you are a constituent. However, your voice carries more weight to implement the things that you want to change when you actually go vote for the person you've been pressuring, right? To do those things. And so I don't know what district you're at. If you don't do anything else from this call today, we want you to do a couple things. I'm going to tell you what I think you should do, and then I'll let each one of you. For me, if you are able-bodied and able to vote, make sure you register to vote. If you don't know what district you live in and who your city council member, who your congressman is, you can call 311 and ask them. I also want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Community Cuts BK. There's also an Instagram account as well. I'm Donnatella C from My Hungry World. You can reach out to me on all platforms, but we definitely want to hear from you. And guess what? We have another chair. We love to get in touch with you. We come out to different locations and stream live as well. We might not necessarily invite you in here because I don't know you and you might be crazy. But we will come and meet you somewhere else.
Yes, we want you, communitycuts39@gmail.com. You can also email us, communitycuts39@gmail.com. And one of the most important things to me is family, is that we're in a village. And I'm asking our village, our people, to always tap into the God that's within them for answers, not outside of you, but within. And it's important that Community Cuts was developed for the community. You know, we go to different neighborhoods, we go to different places that we shoot out of our show, and it's about Brooklyn. We always, matter of fact, Donnatella said BK. Right, you gave me BK.
It's any other 5 boroughs.
Yeah,
right?
but
we rest in BK.
We're here. So it's Community Cuts BK. If you ever want to look us up, Community Cuts BK. And so our main ideology is that we tap into our community, and whatever information that we have, because we're on the streets, whatever information that we have, we give it back to our community. And the information I'm saying today is just to tap into the God that's within you to get, your answers, and just to be mindful, and, mindful of your brother, mindful of your sister, mindful of that little boy, that little girl. And so, we as a community, we have to be responsible, and be responsible for all of our community members. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Rickie to chime in. Rickie?
Yeah, Joel, coming up this month, the 23rd of March, the Clinton Hill Society is holding a meeting. The Clinton Hill Society is one of the oldest societies in Brooklyn. Every politician and their friends will be there. So if at all that you have the opportunity or the time, do contact me at jamesrickie@yahoo.com, RICKIE, and do ask me where and what time and what day exactly is this Clinton Hill Society going to meet. I was given 2 days, they're tentative, but it is going to be very important what we speak about in the Clinton Hill Society.
Oh, that's awesome, Rickie. And I feel like we're at the end of another good show. I do have one thing that I want to remind you. If you are a small business, you are 51% owned by a Black or brown person, or you're a woman-owned business, you need to acquire Minority Women Business Enterprise Certification, or you need to acquire Minority Business Enterprise Certification. Reach out to your girl, Donnatella C. I would love to help you get certified. There are several other certifications that are available in New York State, New York City, and this is a nationwide certification. So each state has minority certification. As of today, I don't know, this administration is trying to get rid of all types of DEI.
Don't get rid of it yet. We are not finished.
No, we
are not finished. DEI will continue. If we have to pull out of our own pockets to keep our DEI running,
that is true.
We shall do that.
And for those of you who are not in a position to pay for a service, because I am not a nonprofit, check in with your local city and state funded agencies to get minority certification. They will do it for free, but not me. Woo! Time to go.
Family, thank you for supporting Community Cuts. live from Brooklyn, New York. DK is in the house, Kings County. Thank you, Donnatella. C. Thank you, Rickie James. Please support us. Please subscribe to Community Cuts. We're here and we're doing our thing in terms of getting out information and just giving you stuff from the heart.